Hello guys, so we are back again, and in this session we are going to do some more questions on partial differentiation. And if you remember properly, we had started with chain rule in the last lecture, and in this lecture we are going to do some more questions of chain rule. So let's proceed with the new questions. So the questions which I'm going to take, the first question is as follow. But before starting the question, hope you have subscribed the channel, okay, so that we can bring more content, engineering content. Okay, so this question says if x is equals to u plus v plus w, y equals to uv plus vw plus uw, z equals to u vw, prove that x dou phi by dou x, 2y dou phi by dou y, 3z dou phi by dou z equals to u into dou phi by dou u, v into dou phi by dou v, w into dou phi by dou w, where phi equals to, okay, phi times x comma y comma z. So indirectly, if we plot a chart, our central function is phi, which is broke up into three things, x, y, z, which is further broke up into u, v, w, like the first example which I took while explaining the chain rule. U, v, u, sorry, this will be u, this will be w. Similarly, this one also u, v, w. Now you will be able to follow the path and apply the chain rule perfectly. Now how to proceed? First you have to write the given things. Y equals to u, v plus vw plus uw, and z equals to u, vw. Just give it one so that you can use, okay, these equations whenever required by telling that it belongs from 1. Now you have to mention this flowchart. Okay, you don't have to draw it on this question paper, but you have to draw it separately for your understanding. Okay, this thing is not allowed. How you represent this thing on answer sheet is like this. Phi is a function of x, y, z. You are not allowed to draw the chart. I'm again repeating, don't draw this. Okay, don't draw this. It's for your understanding purpose. X, y, z, and it is further a function of u, v, w. Now you have to say by chain rule. By chain rule, what you can say? Dou phi by dou. Now how we will proceed? Okay, how we will proceed from here, from LHS to RHS or from RHS to LHS? That is the thing. Now you should know that dou phi by dou u, from phi dou phi to dou u, is the value we can obtain from the chart. So there is no chance that you can get dou phi by dou x value. Okay, so we will prove it from the right hand side. Okay, you just need to know this value dou phi by dou u, because you can get this value dou phi by dou u by using the chain rule. You cannot get dou phi by dou x value. Okay, so dou phi by dou u will be what? Dou phi by dou u will be what? Dou phi by dou x into dou x by dou u plus dou phi by, I follow this path, dou phi by dou y into dou y by dou u. I followed this path, dou phi by dou z into dou z by dou u. I again followed this path. Okay, now what we can do here is that we can find separately dou x by dou u. So dou x by dou u will be what? Dou by dou u into u plus v plus w, which is nothing but, if you differentiate, you are going to get 1. Similarly, dou y by dou u, you can mention all the three at once reason by giving it from 1. So dou y by dou u, dou y by dou u, y is what? uv plus vw plus uw, right? So if you differentiate, you know only you are differentiating with respect to u, so v plus w will be the left thing, and the last dz by du will be d by du. Dz is u, vw, u will be eliminated, vw will be left. You can say from 1. That was the profit of giving it 1. Now we got all this value, we can substitute here and get dou phi by dou u. Dou phi by dou u is nothing but dou phi by dou x into 1, dou phi by dou y into v plus w, or dou phi by dou z into what? vw, right? Now what we can do is that we got one thing, right? Dou phi by dou u, we have to multiply this with u. Okay, so let me multiply throughout by u, because here u is given. So u into dou phi by dou u will be nothing but u dou phi by dou x uv plus uw into dou phi by dou y plus uvw into dou phi by dou z. Just call it what? Call it 1, not 1, 2. So we got 2. Now what we are going to do, again by chain rule, here you will not do the same thing again. You will say by chain rule similarly you by observing that their functions are symmetric, you can directly get now the dou phi by dou v. How it will be dou phi by dou x. First thing, now you know here if I differentiate any v, w, anything, I am going to get 1. So here it will be 1. I know here dou phi by dou y will be there, and here if I differentiate any, only v1 will only be the one which will be differentiate, whose partial differentiation which will be possible, which will be w and u. So I am getting u plus w. And lastly dou phi by dou z, and here you can observe clearly that here with respect to u and w are the only one which you are getting. Now we have to multiply it throughout by what? V. So multiply throughout by v. You will get v d phi by dv equals to v d phi by dx vu plus vw into d phi by dy plus vuw d phi by dz. Just call it what? Call it 3. Now what we can do is multiply. Similarly, what we can do? Similarly, we can get dou phi by dou w, which will be nothing but dou phi by dou x. Again here 1 will be there. Dou phi by dou y. When v is there, uw is there. So when zw is there, it will be u plus v. And lastly dou phi by dou z. Here when v was there, v was absent. Here w is there, so w will be absent, uv. So I can say it is full. Now multiply. Don't give it directly for multiply throughout by what? Now what you are going to multiply? By w. So what you are going to get? W d phi by w. You are going to get w d phi by dx plus wu plus wv d phi by dy plus wuv d phi by dz. Call it 4. Add 1, add 2, 3 and 4. When you add 2, 3 and 4, what you are going to get is you are going to get x d phi by dx, y d phi by dy and 3y. Okay. So what we have to do? We have to multiply. No, we have to just multiply this. So if you add, you are going to get d phi by dou u, d phi by dou v and d phi by dw. Now we have to verify this. Here if you observe clearly, we have here in the first one u, here we have w, v, here we have w. So it will be what? U plus v plus w into dou phi by dou x firstly. Similarly in the second, I am not going to write the complete thing, although you have to write them again, so the teacher can observe what you have written. So here uv, uw, here u, vu, vw, and here wu and vw. So here all the terms are repeated twice. So what I can write? Vu plus vw plus uw, right, into dou phi by dou y. Lastly here once, twice and third time it is repeated uv, so 3 times uvw, which is nothing but dou phi by dou z. So what we can write? It is nothing but x, so x dou phi by dou x. This is nothing but twice y dou phi by dou y This is nothing but thrice z dou phi by dou z. Okay, so we are getting this thing. So hope you have understand this problem clearly. We have proved the given thing which we wanted to prove. Okay, just you need to be careful with this graph. If you are able to draw this chart properly, I've told you previously only that your 95% chances increases that your question will be correct. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is this. So the next question which we are going to encounter is, if x equals to under root vw, y equals to under root uw, z equals to under root uv, then prove that x dou phi by dou x, y dou phi by dou y, z dou phi by dou z equals to u dou phi by dou u, v dou phi by dou v, w dou phi by dou w. So here first we have to observe. Here many children have a problem that they cannot identify the main function. Just observe the result. Whenever they give you dou phi by dou u, dou phi by dou v, dou phi by dou w, dou phi by dou u, dou phi by dou x, dou phi, it doesn't mean that the phi which they have given continuously, it is a central function. Okay, it is the another way of telling you that phi is the main function. You can observe in the previous problem also, here phi was present, phi by phi, although they have given here, but it can also be understood from here, from the result. So let me draw the chart. Phi, it breaks up into x, y, z, which further breaks up. Now here the problem here is, many children in the previous problem had got an idea that it will be function of u, v, w, but if you observe carefully, it is a function of v, w only. There is no u, so be careful with that. Here u, w. Here it will be u, v. Okay, so don't do any mistake in this chart. If you do mistake in this chart, okay, then your answer will be wrong for sure. Now what we have to write, we have to mention all the given things first, so that you can use them wherever you want. Z equals to under root uv, you have to mention it as 1. After mentioning it as 1, what you have to do, you have to express this function, that this chart, that is phi is a function of x, y, z, and it is a function of u, v, w. Right? Now what you can find, dou phi by dou v, you cannot find dou phi by dou x, dou phi by dou y, dou phi by dou z. You can find dou phi by dou v, dou phi by dou u, dou phi by dou w, dou phi by dou v, dou phi by dou u. Okay, all these things. So by chain rule, dou phi by dou u I will find out, which will be nothing but, it will be dou phi by dou x into dou x by dou u. Now you will say there is no u, why are you writing sir u? I will tell you, it is okay. In the next step you have to mention it 0, okay, to make the examiner understand that there is no u term. Dou phi by dou y into dou y by dou u, here y term is present, dou phi by dou z into dou z by dou u. I know this term will become 0, so you don't need to write it in the next step, or you can write it here 0. Okay, in the next step, but that is unnecessary. Okay, writing dou phi by dou u, we need to find dou y by dou u, dou z by dou u. So dou y by dou u will be what? It will be nothing but d by dou u under root uw, which will be nothing but twice under root u under root w. Similarly, dou z by dou u will be nothing but dou by dou u under root zw under root uv. If you differentiate it with respect to under root v, twice under root u. So we are getting this thing, right? Now what we are going to do, we substitute this value. We are going to get dou phi by dou u as what? We are going to get it as dou, this is 0, dou phi by dou y into under root w by twice under root u plus dou phi by dou z as what? We are going to write it as under root v by 2 under root u. Now what they have mentioned, multiply it by u. Multiply throughout by u. If you multiply, you will get u dou phi by dou u If you multiply it by u under root w by twice under root u into dou phi by dou y, and here u under root v twice under root u into dou phi by dou z. Now in the next step, we need to rationalize this. If we rationalize this, in the bottom only 2 will be present, so it will just reduce our job. So we are going to get under root wu by 2 dou phi by dou y under root vu by 2 dou phi by dou z. So we got this thing. Keep it as 2. Now what we are going to do, we are not going to find out the whole thing again. We are going to mention by chain rule. We will write here similarly. What we are going to write similarly, what we will say here is dou phi by dou v will be what? Dou phi by dou x. Here if I differentiate it with respect to, if I differentiate this one, what I am going to get the similar thing, which will be under root w by twice under root v, and here dou phi by dou y, which will be what? There is no v term, we will write here 0, and dou phi by dou z, which will be nothing but dou phi by dou z will be nothing but, here you are differentiating again with respect to v, so under root u by 2 under root v. We are going to multiply throughout by what? By v. We will get v dou phi by dou v equals to v under root w by twice under root v dou phi by dou x plus v under root u by twice under root v dou phi by dou z. If I rationalize this, I am going to get under root u v by 2 dou phi by dou x plus under root u v by 2 dou phi by dou z, which is nothing but here v dou phi by dou v, which we will call as 3. So we got this thing. So now what we can do? What we can do is, we will do again similarly. What we can do, dou phi by dou w, dou phi by dou x, here v will be as it is twice under root w, plus dou phi by dou y, here under root u will be as it is twice under root w, and this will be dou phi by dou z into 0. What we are going to do, we know we multiply throughout by w d phi by w. If I multiply, I am going to get this thing. If I simplify, I am going to get so what we are going to end up actually is getting this, which we will call 4. Now add 2, 3 and 4. What we are going to get is u dou phi by dou u, v dou phi by dou v, w dou phi by dou w, which will be nothing but, if I observe carefully, dou phi by dou x is present in these two, and in the starting one it is 0. So what I am going to get, under root wv the whole by 2 under root vw. Firstly dou phi by dou x. Similarly here I am going to get Here y term is present in this one, not in this one, but in this one. So under root w by whole by 2, y term is here, under root uw into dou phi by dou y. And lastly but not the least, these dou phi by dou z is present in this and this, so under root uv plus under root uv by 2 into dou phi by dou x. If I simplify, and now you can see one more thing, vw is nothing but x and this is also x, so I can write it as twice under root x by 2. Sorry, it is x and this is x, so it is x by 2. So twice x by 2 means this will be what? X, and this will be what? Y, this will be what? Z. So in the next step we can add x dou phi by dou x, you can understand that step, y dou phi by dou y, and z dou phi by dou z. I have written it x. Now you should understand, under root vw is x, under root uw is y, under root uz is z. So I am substituting here x, this will become 2x, 2 will cancel, x will be 0. Under y plus y by 2, 2y, y will be left. Z plus z, 2z by 2 will be z will be 0. So hence proved. Hence we have proved this. Now we have proved this. Now let's move on to the next question. Hope you have understand each and every step of this problem. Now let's consider the next question, which is this question. So the next question which we are going to do is, if u equals to x square minus y square, v equals to 2xy, and z equals to f of u minus v, prove that dou z by dou x the whole square plus dou z by dou y the whole square equals to 4 times under root u square plus v square, bracket, okay, bracket, curly bracket, dou z by dou u the whole square plus dou z by dou v the whole square, curly bracket. First let's draw the chart. Now here you can observe all the places z are present, so I can make out, in the previous problem also experienced, you can make out that z is the central function. From here also you can make out it is broke up into what? uv, and uv is further broke up into xy. So uv, now u is broken into xy both, like in the previous one uvw, okay, all the three terms were not present, so you need to be careful. Similarly here in v, it is present in both xy. I have drawn the chart, so my 95% probability has increased that I will make the question correct. Now, so what we can do, first you have to mention all the things, x square minus y square, v equals to 2xy, z equals to f of u comma v, and keep it as 1. So by now you have to mention this chart, which is z is a function of u comma v and v is a function of x comma y. Now by chain rule, okay, in the previous question you have to write one more thing, that z is the central function, as we can okay, z is the central function as you can check from the above result. Okay, z is the central function as per the above result given there. Okay, so this line I forgot to mention, so that you let the teacher know also that how you came to know that z is the central function. So by chain rule I can get dou z by, what I will get, dou z by dou x, simple. I can get that thing only, there is no, you can get only that thing only from chain rule. Okay, now I need to find dou u by dou x, which will be dou by dou x into u square minus y square 2x. Dou v by dou x, which will be dou by dou x into v, which is nothing but 2xy, which will be nothing but 2y. So we are getting this thing. If I simplify, what I am going to get, let's substitute the value. Dou z by dou x will be dou z by dou u, dou u by dou x, which is nothing but this value 2x, plus dou z by dou v, which is nothing but this value 2y. We are going to get 2x dou z, 2 I have taken common, dou u plus y times dou z by dou v. So we got it as 1. Now let's get So do we need to find the things again? No, we will say by chain rule. Similarly, dou z by dou v will be what? Dou z by dou u. Okay, I think we did any mistake. We wrote here dou u. Okay, it is u. Sorry, this one is perfect. Did any mistake? No, we didn't do any mistake. Yes, everything is correct. So we dou z by dou u. Here we will get with dou z by dou y. Sorry, dou z by dou y. We want to get dou z by dou u will be as it is. Here, if I differentiate this with respect to y, I am going to get minus 2y plus dou z by dou v. If I am going to differentiate this with respect to y, I am going to get 2x. So 2x. If I take 2 common, I will be left with dou z by dou v x minus dou z by dou u y. So we are getting this thing. Now what we can do, write it as 3. Okay, sorry for writing this as 1. Let me write it as 2. So we got dou z by dou v dou y. So what we need to do is square and add 2 and 3. So square and add 2 and 3. What we are getting? Dou z by dou x the whole square plus dou z by dou y the whole square. What we are going to get is 4, which will be outside throughout. Here we are going to get x squared dou z by dou u the whole square plus y square dou z by dou v the whole square plus dou z by dou v x square from here, and dou z by dou u the whole square y square minus 2xy dou z by dou v into dou z by dou u from here, and plus 2xy, sorry for writing it late, it will be from here 2xy dou z by dou u into dou z by dou v. If I do this, you can clearly make out this and this will cancel out. Finally I am going to left with what I am going to left with. This will become, these terms are similar, these terms are similar, so I am going to take 4 x square plus y square outside. I am going to left with dou z by dou u the whole square plus dou z by dou v the whole square. Since this is very simple step, I am not going to write it in step. Okay, you can see the terms are similar, so x square plus y square will be there into dou z by dou u the whole square. Similarly, dou z by dou v similar terms, x square plus y square. X square plus y square I will take whole side common. Now what we are going to do is x square plus y square value will be what? We need to find out that. So if you observe it clearly, under root u square plus v square is what? U square is what? X raised to 4 plus y raised to 4 minus 2x square y square. This is what? Plus 4x square y square. V square value, this will cancel out and we will be left with x square plus y square the whole square. So it is under root, so it will be x square plus y square. You have to mention it in step, in the next step. So I am writing the next step, which will be 4 times under root u square plus v square. This will come by practice. Okay, there is no other way. Dou z by dou u the whole square plus dou z by dou v the whole square. The reason you have to mention the above reason. And after this you will get complete marks, hence proved. So we are done with this session. In the next session we are probably going to take some more problems, because chain rule is little vast and it will take time to complete. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you.